Hey everybody, so it is that time of year again. Hello, Utaji to the bang. How's it going? How you doing? Are you well? So it's that time of year again, and I just went out to our tree, which I'll show you now in a second, which is our fig tree. It's a wild fig tree that grows in our area, just outside our house, and it has lots of figs on it. So I just picked some and I'm making jam. So this is our fig tree, big bugger, very close to my house. But as you can see, a lot of the figs are quite green still. That's why there's loads on it. But there's loads above as well, which I'm going to have to get a ladder at. But yeah, I'm going to get a ladder into those and continue making fig stuff, because I love figs. I love the smell. These are ripe. I'm going to pick those now in a minute. And they're ripe since yesterday. It's amazing. It's great to have this on, and it's, anyone can come here and take these figs because they're on our outside on our sort of scrub land outside our house. Yeah, we're going to pick some more figs and bring them in and maybe make another batch of jam. It's so delicious. It's really, really nice fig jam. So these are figs, about 40 of them, which I've cut up and I put into the pan, into a pot or pan, depending on what part of the world you're in, with half a cup of sugar and some honey, a quarter cup of honey. And I'm going to make some fig jam. So you would think that this will make loads, but actually it only makes a small amount. It makes about a jar, that's all. So you bring this to the boil. A lot of water comes out of the fig, so you bring it to the boil and then you turn it down and then you simmer it for about 30 to 40 minutes or until it thickens up. And that's your jam. It's really, really simple. That's one of the great things about living in the Algarve. Whenever you go on walks or whatever, there's loads and loads and loads of fig trees around, and wild fig trees, especially down by the beach, and everywhere really, they're everywhere. And then not only figs, you've got passion fruit as well. So there's passion fruit, it is passion fruit, yes. Passion fruit trees are everywhere as well, so you can pick those as well, and they're free. And also, actually, it's tons of vines, grapevines growing around as well. Now, some of them are obviously in fields and you don't want to go and rot them because they are fields. But in other areas, as you walk down to the beach where we are, for instance, there's just like loads of wild grapevines, and they're growing grapes, and that's really nice. And I'll show you the jam as it's boiling. It's just boiling away there. Turn it down. That has been simmering away for the past about, I don't know, 15 minutes, something like that. So it's a good bit to go because it's still too watery, too liquidy. So you need that to evaporate a bit more. And then you can leave it with lumps like that, or you can blend it, or if you get a masher, you can mash them up and make them a little bit more smooth. If you actually just get a masher and give it a little bit of a mash, just to break it down a little bit. There's the dogs. First jar of fig jam, and then we're going to just, that's what it looks like, the consistency. halved. I'd say more than halved in quantity. I'm just going to put this into this one. I'll see. I don't want to scald myself because I'm doing this with one hand. There you go. Fig jam. Homemade fig jam from wild figs here in the Algarve. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to make a chutney with some of the figs and then some of the tomatoes that Chris and I grow in Chris's house. Well, when I say Chris and I'm being very kind to myself. I turn up a couple of hours a week and help. But he very kindly came over. We had a dinner party here in the house. He very kindly came over and dropped a load of tomatoes over. So I'm going to make some chutney, fig and tomato chutney with, I'll show you the ingredients now. Really, really simple thing to do. I adore chutney. I eat it with everything. I love it on its own, on bread, or with cheese, or with ham, or with any sort of meats. It's really, really good. So I do love chutney, and I'm going to make enough that'll keep us for the winter. You have to keep your chutney over here in the fridge because the heat, it'll just it does go off much quicker, even though obviously with the amount of sugar you use and vinegar there is a preserve in it, but it still does get a bit moldy, so always keep it in your fridge. So I'll show you the ingredients now. So we have our tomatoes, which Chris gave me, which is a lot of different varieties of tomatoes. He's been great. There's a really good harvest of tomatoes this year. Some of them are also from my garden as well. They're coming to the end of the season now, so I'm going to get rid of the vines that are in my garden and save some of the seeds and plant next year. And then we've got some of our wild figs, which I just picked. And we've obviously got some sugar. That's dark sugar or muscovado sugar. And then we've got onions. It's quite a bit of onions. 500 grams worth of onions. And then we've got 300 grams worth of figs and 1,000 grams of tomatoes. Vinegar. That's about 250 milliliters of vinegar. Sultanas also, which I really like. And we've got our apples. These are really nice, crunchy, good apples, which will keep their shape when they're boiled. So you'll have a crunch of apple in the chutney. But that's basically all you need. Oh, and garlic. We'll put some garlic in, and some salt and pepper, and some spices also, which I'll show you. So, sorry, we have on top of that another pepper. I'm going to add into it some garlic, and then we have some mustard seeds, and we have some cayenne pepper, and some ground ginger, and we have some cardamom pods also. So that's what we are going to put into our chutney. So now I'm going to start chopping things up like my onions. Chopped. So 5 cloves of garlic, or 4 depending. Cut them and roughly chop them and thread them in with the onions. Cut up some apples, 2 apples. These are quite big apples. Cut them up. Add the apples into the onions. And just put this into the pot we're going to use to make the chutney. So it's muscovado or dark sugar, brown sugar, to that there. Apple cider vinegar. You can use any sort of vinegar really. You could use red wine vinegar. And I'm going to put about 150 milliliters, so I'll show you how much that is. I'm sort of guessing really. Pretty much the whole thing. Slicing up some fresh figs that we got from the tree outside, which I've possibly said about 150 times. So roughly chop these up. So you don't need to be delicate with any of this, it's just all roughly chopped. So into smaller pieces. Like that. So there's all our chopped figs, which also go into the pot. And we're going to put our chilies in. These are very hot chilies from Chris's garden. And if you don't want them to be too hot, take out the seeds. And do not attempt to scratch your eyes or to rub your face or to put these on your lips, your fingers on your lips afterwards, or to scratch anywhere else that's sensitive. Because fuck me, it hurts. Stings like hell. So, you know, don't put them anywhere that you don't want them to sting. Bring them into the pot. That's seasonal for us, but as I said, if you don't want to be too hot, cut down on it or don't put the seeds in. Tomatoes, so I'm just going to roughly chop up the tomatoes. They've been washed and get rid of these little bits here, but yeah, just roughly chop these up. Lots of tomatoes. So the tomatoes obviously are the main ingredients, so they go into the pot also. And last but not least, some sultanas. If you don't like them, don't add them. I love sultanas. Yeah. So about like 150 grams or half a cup. So I am going to put 1 teaspoon of onion salt, mustard seeds, 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 3 cardamom pods crushed up. And I'm going to put them in there, but I can't do them holding the camera and having one hand. So plop them in. Onion salt, paprika, ground ginger or dry ginger, 1.5 mustard seeds, 1 teaspoon, and then some cardamom pods. So I'm going to put just a few, so maybe these are small, so I'm going to put 4 in. So just give them a bit of a crush to release the flavour. It smells so good. Turn on the oven, or turn on the pot because, shut up dogs! Because I didn't have a lid for the bigger one. It must have got lost in the move over here from Ireland. So pop the lid on and leave it for an hour to boil away. An hour on, nearly. All starting to mush up. And then we turn it down to a simmer and we leave the lid off for another hour and a half. So this is the finished chutney. So it looks like food, but it tastes absolutely delicious. So, and then we put it into our jars, which are sterilizing over here. So that's our chutney. So that is with figs made from the trees just outside, tomatoes grown from my friend's garden, and yeah, can't wait to eat it. And now on to the eating. So here's the jar of the chutney. It's completely cool and cold, and it looks like that. And I'm just gonna a little bit of Philadelphia on a cracker. A little bit of Philadelphia on a cracker, and then a little bit of ham on top of that, and then clean off my knife, and then serve my chutney. So my chutney like that. You can really taste the tomatoes, the sweetness of tomatoes, and the spices, and actually it's not too hot at all. You can have a tiny bit of a tingle with the chilies, but yeah, just the overall taste are just tomatoes. Well, if you make it, enjoy.